In this series, Shadow and Micha trip of terror on the CoolBoyShadow Studio channel. Shadow and Micha embark on a multi-episode ghost hunting journey in Roblox inspired by The Boys. Here's a summary of the events across all 6 episodes. Shadow and Micha travel to various haunted locations using equipment like EMF readers, spirit boxes, and cameras to identify different types of entities. A recurring theme in their investigations is finding boo boo dolls and uncovering dark rituals, often leading to intense ghost hunts where they must hide to survive. Episode 1: The Juniper Street Mystery. The duo investigates the home of the Juniper family, who were allegedly killed by a serial killer. They experience doors closing on their own and high EMF readings near a TV, eventually pinpointing the ghost's location before the episode ends. Episode 2: Ghost Hunting at Mulberry Lane. At Mulberry Lane, the investigation centers around a house with a creepy history involving another serial killer. They find high EMF activity in the basement and suspect the entity is in the kitchen. Despite the ghosts not responding to the spirit box, they currently guess it is a poltergeist. Episode 3: The Roadhouse Investigation. The team visits a roadhouse where they discover a demon ritual in the basement. Micah riskily stands in the middle. Wait, what? I stood in the middle. Micah was in the locker. I'm gonna rephrase that. I riskily sta- Shadow riskily stands in the middle of the ritual circle to provoke the entity. Despite the ritual evidence, they correctly identify the ghost as another poltergeist. Micah's second guess in a row. Correct guess in a row. Haunted exploration at the abandoned house. Hold on. Episode 4: Haunted exploration at the abandoned house. In this abandoned residence, the duo discovers yet another ritual circle, this time in the attic. They face multiple ghost hunts that drain their sanity to 0%, forcing them to flee to the truck. For the third time in the series, the entity is revealed to be a poltergeist. I really don't know how Micah was just on a roll, okay? Um, Episode 5: Exploring the Cursed Stillhouse. The investigation takes a turn at the stillhouse when Shadow gets stuck behind a door during a hunt and is killed by the entity. I didn't get killed. I ran into the bathroom and ran to a locker where Micah was. And the entity killed Micah and I ran to the truck. Just like what I did in episode 3 at the Roadhouse. Micah got killed, I ran to the truck, and we correctly guessed the ghost site. Before the tragic end, they catch a glimpse of the ghost using an SLS camera. The entity is later revealed to be a wraith. Episode 6: The Wheatley House Ghost Hunt Finale. In the series finale, they explore the Wheatley house, which shares the same murderer as Juniper Street. The house is filled with terrifying paintings and secret rooms. After observing a shy Shadow and noticing a lack of paranormal activity while they were together, they correctly guessed the final entity as a shade. In the Shadow and Micah Trip of Terror series, each episode centers on specific pinpoints, key findings, evidence, or events that lead Shadow and Micah to identify the haunting entity. Here is a summary of the critical pinpoints for every episode. Episode 1: The Juniper Street Mystery. The TV anomaly. The most significant pinpoint occurred when the EMF reader began beeping intensely near the TV, which helped the duo locate the ghost's room. Environmental cues. They experienced doors closing on their own and heard unexplained sounds, establishing a hostile presence early on. Episode 2: Ghost Hunting at Mulberry Lane. Basement activity. A major pinpoint was that hold on. A major pinpoint was the EMF reader reaching level 4 in the basement, indicating high paranormal concentration. The kitchen connection. They narrowed the entity's favorite spot in the kitchen area. Successful deduction. Despite the ghosts not responding to the spirit box, Micah correctly guessed the entity was a poltergeist. And it was correct. So good job, Micah. Episode 3, The Roadhouse Investigation. The Ritual Circle. They discovered a demon ritual circle in the basement which served as a major environmental pinpoint. High risk perfection. Shadow stood in the middle of the ritual circle to provoke the ghost. Micah was in the locker. Poltergeist streak. Despite the ritual evidence suggesting a demon, the entity was revealed to be a poltergeist again, which apparently Micah convinced me it was a poltergeist, which I thought it would be a demon because of that ritual circle. But because we got because he convinced me to guess poltergeist because I was gonna go with it. I was gonna go with demon, but he said poltergeist. So I went with him instead because we got it right in the episode 2. Episode 4, Haunted Exploration at the Abandoned House. The Attic Ritual. They found another ritual circle, this time in the attic, marketing hold on. Hold on, I can't speak. Marking it as the ghost's primary territory. Sanity drain. Multiple ghost hunts push their sanity to zero, forcing them to hide in closets for survival. The rule of three. Oh, I get what that means. For the third consecutive time, the entity was identified as a poltergeist. I don't know how Micah does that. Or I don't know how the coincidences for being a poltergeist 3 times in a row. That's just crazy. Exploring the Cursed Stillhouse. Episode 5. The SLS catch. They pinpointed the ghost's physical form briefly using an SLS camera. A Ouija board risk. They used an Ouija board, which led to a dangerous increase in activity. Fatal encounter. A critical and tragic pinpoint was the ghost hunt where Shadow got stuck behind the door and was killed. No, I was not. I managed to get unstuck, ran into the closet where Micah was, and it killed him. And I ran into the truck like I did in episode 3. The entity was later confirmed to be a wraith. Episode 6, The Wheatley House Finale. Secret rooms and paintings. The house was filled with secret areas and creepy paintings that reacted to their presence. The Shy Shadow. A key pinpoint where Micah saw a shadow that disappeared quickly. Behavioral evidence. Because the ghost was extremely chill and inactive while they were together, they correctly deduced it was a shade, as shades are known for being shy around groups. The movie Shadow and Micha Trip of Terror, the movie, is a feature-length compilation that brings together all 6 episodes of Shadow and Micha's ghost hunting investigations into one continuous story. Shadow and Micah travel to various haunted locations in the city of Robloxia, inspired by the style of the boys. Their goal is to investigate urban legends, uncover the truth behind boo-boo dolls and ritual circles, and identify the entities haunting each site using professional ghost hunting equipment. Okay, now that's wrong. The first sentence where from Shadow and Micah to the boys is correct because I revealed that Shadow and Micah Trip of Terror is inspired by the boys Trip of Terror. But where it says their goal is to investigate urban legends, uncover the truth behind boo dolls and ritual circles is not correct. The goal is to guess the gorilla. I was about to say gorilla. The goal is to investigate the correct ghost type to save boo dolls. And of course the ritual circles, which again I pointed out in episode 3. If we had Isaac on this journey, I know the next thing that's gonna happen when he sees a ritual circle. Every time he sees a ritual circle, the oh my gosh. Anyways, the Juniper Street Mystery. The journey begins at the home of the Juniper family, who were victims of a serial killer. The duo uses EMF readers and spirit boxes to track the entity. Mulberry Lane. They investigate a house with a dark history in Australia. My, okay, I didn't. I didn't actually mean it would be in Australia because I didn't think because I saw the line with clothes on and on out in the outside, so I just thought it was Australia. I was only playing. Okay. Micah makes a breakthrough by correctly identifying the entity as a poltergeist, despite limited evidence. The roadhouse and abandoned house. The stakes rise as they discover demon ritual circles. Micah establishes a winning streak by identifying. I don't know what's so funny, but I'm laughing. By identifying two more poltergeists in a row. The cursed stillhouse. This is. Why am I laughing? I don't understand what's so funny. Um. Okay. This is the most tragic part of the film. While using an SLS camera to catch a glimpse of the ghost, Shadow gets trapped behind a door during a hunt and managed to escape, hide in the closet, and Micah was killed. The ghost was revealed to be a wraith. The finale, Wheatley House. In the final investigation, they visit a house linked to the original Juniper Street killer. After encouraging secret rooms and shy behavior from the entity, they correctly identify the ghost as a shade. The serial killer connection. Several locations, Juniper Street and Wheatley House, are connected by the same murderer, adding a narrative thread to the investigations. Micah's intuition. A recurring highlight is Micah's ability to correctly guess the ghosts, eventually going on a roll when multiple ghost deductions. The journey's end. The movie concludes with the duo reflecting on their trip of terror and their success in surviving Mesley, the most haunted locations in Robloxia. See, this is why the Wheatley house became the sixth. It was creepy, yes, but the shade, no, because we actually expected more than just absolutely nothing. Like, no wonder it became the most sixth haunted place in all of Robloxia. No wonder. It was creepy, but it didn't. It was shy. It didn't kill. Okay. The series Shadow and Micha Trip of Terror on the CoolBoyShadow Studio channel is a direct homage and creative spin-off series inspired by The Boys Trip of Terror. While both share a similar spirit of high-stakes ghost hunting, here's how they compare across several categories: format and inspiration. The Boys. The original series features a group of creators, Josh, Molly, Eddie, Jesse, and narrator, traveling to real-world haunted locations around the globe. It is known for its high production value and mix of genuine scares with comedic group dynamics. Shadow and Micah. My series, is a Roblox-based adaptation. It takes the concept of the boys and translates it into a gaming environment. I even explicitly mentioned the inspiration in your video descriptions, framing it as your own version of their adventure. The first time that I've mentioned of the series being inspired by the boys was literally the introduction of episode 2. But I think I did mention that in a couple. I need to double check that, but anyways, investigative style. The boys. They often use high-end equipment like high-end equipment like spirit boxes, thermal cameras, and Estes method sessions in physical locations. The Sally House or the Conjuring House. Okay, hold on. The Conjuring House was not part of the Trip of Terror in The Boys. That was not part of it. The Sally House was, yes, but not the Conjuring House. Shadow and Micah. I I mirror this by using in-game equipment like EMF readers, SLS camera, and spare parts. I follow a similar pro approach, sim- systemically checking rooms, identifying entities like a poltergeist or wraith, and dealing with the psychological sanity mechanics of the game. Tone and narrative. The boys. Their videos often lean into chaos of a large group with lots of banter, pranks, and high energy reactions to scares. Shadow and Micah. My series focuses on a duo dynamic. This makes the investigation feel more personal and focused. While there is still humor, there's a strong narrative thread, especially by when the recurring Boo Boo dolls and the tragic climax in episode 5, where I did not get killed by a wraith. The boys. They are famous for their winning streaks in identifying ghosts correctly and their iconic catchphrases. Shadow and Micah. I created my own legendary moment. I created my own legendary moments, such as Micah's 3 episode streak of correctly guessing poltergeists and the final finale's discovery of the shy shade at the Waitley house. And this is the summary table. In short, your series captures the investigative intensity and team versus ghost spirit of the boys, but adapts it into a unique narrative driven gaming adventure for the Cool Boy Shadow Studio community. That is all for right now. If you want, you can go back and like pause to read the summary table right here, but that's if you want to. I'm not telling you to do that, but yeah, that's all for right now. We're gonna do a season 2 in July, which is coming soon. Um, but yeah, bye guys.